All right, everybody, let's do this. Today is the day that we find out who is the third player to qualify for the round of 8. This is the round of 16 Group 2 winners match of Season 1 of the Manifold Promotional League. I am Brad. With me here, as always, is Adam. Adam, who are we watching?
Hey, everyone. Today we've got Eileen facing off against Nick. Both of these players just won against their opponents, and now we get to watch them try to win against each other. Starting off with Eileen's deck. This is a Rylo Lucca attachment aggro deck, where Eileen's trying to put these nice aggressive attachments like Chain Plasma Rifle and Spotter Scope on her Lucca to make as much damage as possible, and then the other hero, Rylo, just makes a pile of damage.
This deck had an incredible showing in Placement Match A. When it wins the game, how do I want to say this? This is a flagship deck. She's going to go tall on Lucca, and in games in which Lucca doesn't die, she looks like absolutely the best deck in the room.
Yeah.
In games where Lucca does die, Rylo Octane is an incredible plan B, because red, take a damage, turn a dice to a side showing damage is a great way to find the last bits of damage that you need to steal a close game.
Yeah. Nick is going to have to find a way to get that game close or win without it being close at all. On the other side, Nick here is playing his tried and true DADO-14 Sacrifice deck. Dado makes a Sentinel, it gets activated, then Ramorand sacrifices it. Both of them have aggressive energy abilities. These heroes work really well together, and the rest of his cards also work with that synergy.
Yeah, these are both blue-red decks that play 2 21-cost heroes and a 3-cost prestige, and the similarities really end there. These things play out very differently, and Nick's deck manages to present a tremendous number of dice up front, because Ramorand kind of rolls an extra dice, and the cost that he's normally forced to pay to do that is completely mitigated by Dado, which means Nick is going to be especially good at trading with Eileen's flagship and forcing this game into the phase where Eileen is trying to steal the game. And Nick has a bunch of really excellent tools like Blessed Menders and Change the Tides in order to prevent Eileen from stealing that game.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. So yeah, let's go see how these players do it.
Yeah, we're down to the table. Looks like Nick has won the die roll, and Nick is going to begin by activating Dado and creating a Sentinel.
So rolling energy here is a pretty decent start. That's 2 damage. I always like to say that Dado always makes either 2 or 3 damage, because an energy, that Sentinel all combines to be like 2 or 3 damage every time.
So something I have to say, because I'm going to end up making exasperated noises at some point during this cast. I do not understand this Dado-Ramorand deck.
It's not a fundamental.
Yeah. This deck list does not look powerful to me, and Nick just keeps winning games with it.
Yeah. When you're playing against it, you feel it. I don't know. He makes a bunch of damage. He kills your heroes. Eileen's going to play both a Spotter Scope and a Chain Plasma Rifle on Lucca, each time rolling damage off that red dice.
Okay, that's a very strong start.
Now, this is how this deck I understand.
Yes.
Eileen's deck. She's going to make a ton of damage in round 1, and Nick is going to have to find a way to deal with it. He'll roll Ren 2. That's a decent way at dealing with Eileen.
Eileen's already down to 3 cards in hand, and a Ren 2 will put her down to 1.
Yeah.
Well, she found a draw 2 off that green dice.
That's not nothing.
Yeah, that's
Spotter Scope
really
trigger
helpful.
Here will turn that purple dice into 2 damage. And Nick will respond with a Change the Tide, hitting 2 damage and the draw 2.
Okay. And he's going to be modifying this purple dice into damage. And the other one into modify? No, he's turning them both into damage.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's going to find 6 damage. He's going to shield. He's probably going to make some other play.
Yeah. But otherwise, I think that's a pretty solid change of tide. So Eileen's going to activate Rylo, rolling 2 damage and a shield, and then we'll immediately take a damage on Rylo to turn that shield into 2 damage.
So something we saw LL do and now we're seeing Nick do is both of these players are opting to do damage to Rylo first.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, the Sentinel poked Rylo for 1 before anything.
Okay. And now the 1, that doesn't mean full commitment, right? He could absolutely pivot to Lucca now that there's 4 gems of investment on Lucca.
Right. And I think that's pretty reasonable to do if he wants to do that. Eileen is going to start by damaging Ramorand as her chosen target, dealing 2. She'll find 8 damage this round and a shield.
And Nick is also going to find 8 damage this round and a shield. But unfortunately for Nick, all his damage is in instances of 2. Eileen is an action ahead. It really looks... Oh, never mind. Yeah, Nick figured out how to resolve his dice to make Eileen's shields not devastating for him.
Right. So 2 damage here using Dado's energy ability. We'll put 2 on Lucca. And Eileen's shield here can't really soak 2 damage. I mean, unless... Because now Nick could go back at Lucca. Neat. These shields actually became really interesting. So both players got their shield 1. Eileen, though, on the other hand, has a bunch of 1s. So that'll only eat 1 damage. Whereas now Nick could deal 4 damage to Rylo and just commit there.
Yeah, and then it really sucks to not dedicate your damage, right? Because once you defeat a hero, you cause the output to go down. Oh, I see. So Nick commits to playing this Protection of Belief to reduce Eileen's damage by 2. That's one of the best cards in your deck in the matchup, and you really want to get 4 damage with it, but you also really don't want to waste a gem.
Right. You really don't. I think that's a perfectly fine play. Eileen will discard a Templar Squire and probably something else to that Ren 2, and we'll go into this next round with Eileen having dealt 5 damage to 1 target and Nick having dealt 6 damage to 2 targets.
Yeah, and when you put it that way, it sounds very close.
Mm-hmm. Eileen's board certainly looks a lot bigger, though, with the Chain Plasma Rifle. And second Chain Plasma Rifle. We're rolling red dice today.
So, obviously, if one player loses a hero and the other one doesn't, the player that loses their hero is quite disadvantaged here. I think in a world where Nick manages to trade Ramorand for Lucca, Nick is winning. In a world where Nick manages to trade Ramorand with Rylo, it's a very close game.
I agree.
And I think in a world in which no hero is defeated, Eileen is ahead.
Sure.
But part of that, again, I don't understand how Nick's deck works, right? And so I understand all the guns on Lucca.
Yeah.
And that's big and scary.
Guns on Lucca is big.
Yeah, so that's why I assume if that continues to be true, that's bad for Nick.
So Eileen's going to roll a bunch of dice with Lucca and make some damage, but mostly get a bunch of blanks. And Nick on the other side is going to sacrifice his
radar
servo to Ramorand to roll dice.
And it found a 2 Rend, which Eileen was forced to spend the rest of her gems to sabotage.
Yeah.
Because Eileen's now going to be forced to discard her last card to tactical reroll. She's not forced to do that. I believe that she will opt to do that.
Right. But Nick's going to spend the rest of, or a big chunk of his gems here on Battle Ready on Dado. And that's a really interesting play here. He doesn't have many premium dice to modify. It'll still be good, of course, but I'm not sure. So he's got a Modify 2 trigger here. Let's see what he does with it.
Yeah, he's looking at dealing like 7 damage. Of course, he has 2 more gems up, and there's Federation Battle Mages and stuff in his deck. So that could do...
Ooh, cool. So he's going to modify into 2 draw. Eileen will discard her last card and tactical reroll into Modify Energy Shield.
And you've heard me say it if you watch the placement match. Eileen does not have good energy abilities.
Yeah.
Rylo, she used it a bunch in the placement match B, or placement match A, I think it was. Gives you an extra action. But Lucca has probably the worst energy ability in the game.
Yeah.
It's return an attachment from play to your hand.
Yeah.
Which, unless you have some particular reason that you really want to do that, it's actively bad for you.
So Eileen's going to modify 1 here, and she'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 damage, and Ramorand is at 11 right now.
Okay. So Nick probably is going to do some sort of trick.
Yeah, with his...
He resolved his draw, right? So a Protection of Belief or a Clothbound Apprentice.
Yeah. And if he does that, then Eileen doesn't...
Okay.
Oh, boy.
He opts to dig in.
Okay.
So he drew 2 and rended 2 and put some gems into play and says, you have no cards in hand, you have no plays, put me to 1, that's fine, I'm going to activate Ramorand again.
Yeah. Eileen.
Oh.
Eileen will use Lucca's energy ability to pick up her Spotter's Scope, letting her tactical reroll. If either of these dice shows damage, then that is back-breaking for Nick. He dug in on Ramorand so that he would get one more activation out of Ramorand.
And he wasted like 6 dice to do that.
Yeah, and 2 gems. Okay. Eileen's figuring out if she wants to reroll this other red dice.
Neat. Because it's, it breaks a shield all the time.
Wow! Maximum damage.
Oh my gosh. That is insane. That is far and away the best Lucca's energy ability I've ever seen.
Wow! And then also 2 damage on Dado. So we're going into this third round. Nick has done 7 damage, and Eileen just killed Ramorand and started working on Dado.
That's
unbelievable.
A crazy blowout. Now, Eileen is living off the top of her deck, and Nick spent his battle ready trigger drawing 2 cards last round. Right?
Yeah.
So there is still a world in which Eileen has nothing to do, but she's got a pacify.
She just drew pacify?
Yeah, battle ready has 3 durability.
If Nick doesn't start by activating Dado and Eileen wants to, she can just kill that battle ready with a pacifier.
Yeah, that is absolutely what's going to happen.
Yeah, she sees it.
Because Nick is going to spend, he's going to dance to get more value out of the Sentinel.
Meltdown on the Chain Plasma Rifle.
Oh,
okay,
my
I'll
God.
pacify your battle ready.
Nick has no board state.
At all.
At all. He has a fully realized Dado.
Yep, and here's a Blessing of the Cloth.
Okay.
That's reasonable. Okay, and Eileen will start making damage. That's crazy. Good job, Eileen, for seeing the line of picking up your spotter's scope.
I did not see that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucca's energy ability. The option is upside.
Yeah. Oh, man. Eileen also rolling a bunch of modify here means she'll have a good chance at maximizing her damage output. Sabotage 1 here is a pretty good roll. But that's like all Nick is doing this round.
Which might mean she just changes the tide now. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I wouldn't be surprised to see her turn this green dice into a draw 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, draw 2 and 2 damage.
And with Rylo, even if she doesn't draw anything useful to play this round, which she's probably not going to draw anything useful to play this round.
That's a radar servo at least.
Yeah.
That's something.
Not with red dice.
I mean, sure, it's a guy that rolls a black dice. I don't know, that's fine.
All right, you got me.
Yeah.
But Rylo plus this modify 2 means she's going to do 8 damage this round.
Sure. Nick tactical rerolls his 2 white dice. That'll be 2 damage. That's not literally nothing.
Oh my God.
Rylo just rolls 6 damage naturally. Oh, man.
Okay, so you do actually want to play that radar servo because you want to actually use your modify 2?
Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, she's not going to take a damage here in order to modify into damage because she just doesn't need to. Absolutely insane.
And Nick
She will.
passes?
Okay, yeah, she will take a damage.
I don't know why. Oh, got it. Eileen
Yeah.
was still trying to decide if she was resolving that trigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll do it. All right. 2 damage is going to go in at Lucca here. And Eileen will play the radar servo. Modifying into shield. Sure, that's fine. Nick will dig in on Dado. Eileen will activate the radar servo, rolling modify. Okay,
Which
sure.
might just modify the shield back into damage.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
Sure. Take off your shield, hit you for 10.
Okay.
Wow. So Nick didn't do much this round. Eileen did.
Nick had no board state. He lost his whole board state
Yeah.
to that gambit in
Yeah.
round 2.
Digging in to protect Ramorand. If that had worked, it would have been cool and solid. Instead, here we are.
Yeah, instead it just gets absolutely devastated.
Yeah. So, Eileen just needs to find 4 damage. There's a lot of ways for her to do that. For instance, activate Rylo.
Yeah, the probability that you deal 4 damage when you activate Rylo is very high.
Yeah.
She has a Blessing of the Cloth in her hand and 1 other card, I believe.
Nick plays a Black Altar. Now's the time to do something big.
Yeah, and this card's huge. And if you had some time, this is how you would come back by making a bigger board state than your opponent.
Yep.
My hunch is that we're gonna see Lucca get activated apparently swiftly.
With an ambush.
Yeah, and then the game will just literally be over.
Yep. All right, so activation here will roll 7 dice. Wow. Okay, and there's a pilot damage.
There's 4 damage.
There we go.
Wow. So absolutely brilliant heads up play by Eileen. Holy cow. When this deck works, it looks incredible, and it is in the hands of a very talented pilot here.
It really is. So this is the winner's match. That means Eileen is our third qualifier for the round of 8.
Fabulous. Congratulations, Eileen.
And Nick isn't out of this. Nick is going to be going on to play the survival match in the upcoming videos here.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I'm excited. I really want to see if Nick can make it. So stay tuned. Watch with us.
We'll see you there. Thanks for watching.